They believed nothing could stop them. They had assembled the largest, most powerful fleet Europe had ever witnessed. They didn't just sail the seas, they owned them. They controlled the flow of trade, the balance of power, and they believed with absolute certainty that time itself was on their side. But they were profoundly, catastrophically wrong. On paper, the plan was flawless, a work of strategic genius. Every single detail had been debated, every potential contingency discussed. Each tactical move was calculated with meticulous precision. Victory didn't just feel possible, it felt inevitable, a foregone conclusion. But a single fatal assumption was woven into the very fabric of this grand design, an assumption that would unravel everything. It wasn't about strength. It wasn't about numbers. It was about time. This was the Spanish Empire at its zenith. By the late 16th century, Spain commanded a global territory larger than any empire that had come before it. Unimaginable wealth, plundered from the Americas, flowed into its coffers, funding its ambitions. Its great galleons crossed every major ocean, its flags a familiar sight from the Caribbean to the Philippines. And its navy, the mighty Spanish Armada, was the most feared military force in all of Europe. Spain didn't see rivals on the world stage. It saw mere obstacles. And in the mind of the Spanish court, obstacles were things to be removed, crushed, and swept aside. The objective was brutally simple: break England. Queen Elizabeth's Protestant nation was a persistent thorn in Spain's side, a haven for pirates who preyed on their treasure fleets, and a supporter of rebels in the Spanish Netherlands. The goal was to end this English resistance once and for all, and in doing so, secure absolute, unquestionable dominance over the vital sea lanes of Europe. Spain felt no need to rush. Why should it? It trusted in its immense size, its sheer overwhelming power. It trusted in its fearsome reputation, which often won battles before a single shot was fired. And most critically, it trusted that its enemy, the much smaller and less experienced English fleet, would simply wait, paralyzed by fear, for the inevitable hammer blow to fall. The fleet they assembled was a testament to this confidence. It was massive, crewed by hardened veterans, and commanded by nobles who had known nothing but victory. Spain believed that any delay in its preparations simply meant more time to perfect its plan, to add another layer of certainty to its success. But delay was not their ally. It was a poison already seeping into the veins of the operation. The preparations took far longer than anyone had anticipated. The logistics of gathering over 100 ships, 30,000 men, and mountains of supplies proved to be a Herculean task. As the weeks turned into months, vital provisions began to spoil. Crucial orders were lost in the chaos. The intricate coordination that the plan depended upon began to crumble. Meanwhile, the English were not idle. They adapted with a speed and ingenuity that Spain had fatally underestimated. Their smaller, more maneuverable ships could outsail and outgun the lumbering Spanish galleons at a distance. What was supposed to be a swift, surgical strike to establish naval domination slowly, almost imperceptibly, devolved into a desperate struggle for survival. The Great Armada was no longer a unified, unstoppable force. It was a collection of damaged ships struggling against the wind and the waves. Their crews exhausted and their morale plummeting. Spain tried to regain control, to regroup and impose its will on the chaotic situation, but the moment had passed. The window of opportunity had slammed shut. What should have been a single, decisive campaign unraveled into a long, grueling nightmare of attrition. The Armada wasn't defeated in one epic battle. It was dismantled, piece by exhaustion, by disease, by miscalculation, and by the relentless, unforgiving passage of time. The once invincible fleet began to fall apart, its remnants forced into a harrowing journey home around the hostile coasts of Scotland and Ireland, where many more ships were wrecked. Now, the Spanish Empire did not collapse that year, not by a long shot. But its aura of invincibility at sea was shattered forever. History teaches us this same lesson again and again. Empires, and indeed great powers of any kind, rarely fall because they are weak. They fall because they become complacent. They fall because they believe time is a resource they own and can control. They fall because they confuse immense size with absolute control and reputation with reality. It's a timeless warning that echoes through the centuries. Time waits for no one, and the moment it is lost, misjudged, or disrespected, it can never be reclaimed.